Aspen University CJ110 Introduction to Criminal Justice, Module 4 Discussion Question 2, which states, as found in all recent FBI Uniform Crime Reports, UCRs, urban inner-city areas have the highest crime rates in the country. A greater number of police are assigned to these areas because of the crime rate. How might police avoid accusations of biased policing while still reducing crimes? What is racial profiling and what is biased policing? Racial profiling refers to police practices that disproportionately target racial minorities for investigation and enforcement. Biased policing refers to police practices that intentionally use prejudiced judgments based on race, ethnicity, gender, sexual orientation, economic status, religious beliefs, or age. Generally speaking, bias-based policing includes racial profiling and also many other types of profiling. Why does racial profiling and biased policing happen? These types of incidents occur for several reasons. The first is because a small number of police officers misuse their positions of trust in the community with negative contact with the people the officers are sworn to protect and serve. This may be based on the officer's personal views of someone's race, creed, or sexual orientation. The second reason is because members of any given subculture may believe they are being targeted by police due to the race, creed, or sexual orientation of the persons being served by the police. The third reason is because filing complaints of racial profiling or biased policing can be used as a defense for a crime to create doubt on the ability of the community's law enforcement agency or to interfere with daily operations of a police department. This may include filing a complaint in attempts to get a traffic ticket taken back by the agency, charges dropped, or just in retribution for the police activity. Can municipalities solve these problems by just assigning their officers who match the demographics of people they serve? No. It is almost impossible to find viable police candidates to match the demographics of any major metropolitan area. To break down the facts of this question, I have found some data on the demographics of police officers nationwide, and in my example, in St. Louis, Missouri, which is rated the most dangerous city to live in 2015. High crime rate areas and areas with high level of poverty. The population of these inner city communities are predominantly minorities, blacks, Hispanics, Asians, and others. 78.7% of police officers in the United States are white, 82.2% are male, and the average age is 39.6 years old. In St. Louis, Missouri, in 2015, violent crimes per 1,000 people was 1,817.1. Murders were 188. The property level was 28.8% of the population, and unemployment was 6.1%. Of the 315,685 people in St. Louis, Missouri, 49% were black, 43.8% were white, and 3.88% were Hispanic. This is based on the U.S. Census Bureau's report from 2016. The St. Louis, Missouri Police Department is made up of 63% white officers, 35% black officers, and 2% of officers who report other racial backgrounds. With these numbers, we can see St. Louis, Missouri is a poor inner-city community made up predominantly of minorities. The police department, on the other hand, has a large contingent of white officers. The makeup of residents is based on the socioeconomic issues, while the police department ranks are made up of candidates who applied to the department, passed background investigation, passed standardized police academy, the standardized police academy, successfully completed field training, and are reliable employees based on the standards set by the department. Police administrators cannot assign officers to match demographics of the residents if the candidates do not match the demographics. One cannot force someone to take a police job just because their race, creed, sexual orientation would be helpful to the police department's mission. My jurisdiction is unique to New England because we border two Indian reservations that both have casinos. These casinos attract migrant workers who are Asian and from South and Central America. To add to the unique demographics, there is a large Haitian population in my city, brought here by a philanthropist who worked with the Catholic nun Mother Teresa. There have never been any Asian or Haitian officers in my department. And of the 6, while I've worked with the department, we have had some Chinese American officers, but that has been, that was before my time. We have 6 Hispanic officers and only 3 speak Spanish. My agency struggles to recruit enough officers just to keep the ranks filled, and minority officers are almost impossible to recruit. Will training assist in helping officers avoid complaints of racial profiling and biased policing? Possibly, but there's already a standard training on these subjects in police academies and in recertification training. In my opinion, racial and biased opinions are a disease. Training is not the cure. What is the correct way to address both valid and false complaints of racial and biased policing? In my experience as a veteran officer and one who has studied his trade on the academic level, I believe video audio surveillance is the answer. Body cameras, in-car cameras, and full-length videos from the general public are great tools in reducing poor police behavior, addressing problems that exist with officers, and refuting false complaints. My opinion is not necessarily popular with officers I work with. However, when my agency did have in-car cameras, which was a short time, the footage got me out of trouble from a false complaint multiple times. But if cameras are the easy fix, why don't we see them everywhere? There are several reasons for lack of cameras. Police officers don't like Big Brother looking over their shoulder. Some police unions take up the fight to not change working conditions and by forcing officers to wear the cameras. Activist groups have rejected police cameras when the footage shows the suspects are in the wrong. The biggest barrier for in-car and body camera comes down to money. Body cameras are inexpensive. Because my department does not issue them, I have purchased my own off of Amazon and use a GoPro as an in-car camera. However, following the laws controlling the camera content is where police agencies feel the pinch. Data storage is expensive, and based on the type of incident an officer is investigating, files may be required to be held for a certain amount of time to never be erased. An employee or employees must maintain the technology, answer to FOI requests, and make files accessible to officers, administrators, prosecutors, defense attorneys, or just anybody that requests them. An employee for such task usually means a new hire, which means a new salary, a benefits package, and a retirement of some sort. Everyone wants accountability until they see the price tag. What actions as a police administrator would you take to be able to assign the necessary amount of police officers to a high crime area while at the same time being able to address complaints your officers are racist because of their crime fighting techniques? I'm going to post links. I'm going to post this entire presentation in the description of the video. The links in here show a news story of a college professor in Connecticut who claimed she was racially profiled by a Connecticut State Trooper for a motor vehicle violation, wanted the ticket taken back, and the trooper disciplined. See how technology played a part in this case. The second link is a news story of Florida officers who tried to frame a woman for a crash when an officer was at fault. Again, see how cameras were involved. And then I've placed references down below with links so you can check my work. I would like to know what you think about this specifically. And the question that I asked, what actions as a police administrator would you take to be able to assign the necessary amount of police officers to a high crime area while at the same time being able to address complaints your officers are racist because of their crime fighting techniques? Let me know what you think.